The Star Mazda Championship has been decided, but this prize is still there for the taking. A championship within a championship, and it's Connor Daly's to win or to lose. It's the final race of 2010, the last chance for someone to steal the cup from this young American. We're at Road Atlanta for the conclusion of the Star Mazda Championship for the Visit Florida Cup. Welcome to Road Atlanta. We're in Brazelton, Georgia for the season finale of the Star Mazda Championship for the Visit Florida Cup. It's part of Petite Le Mans weekend. Hello again, everybody. I'm Rick Benjamin, Endurance star Johnny O'Connell alongside Todd Lewis on pit road. Connor Daly's already earned the Mazda Speed Scholarship and the $100,000 Champions Prize, but Johnny, there's a lot more at stake here this weekend. The Visit Florida Cup still up for grabs.
And an important trophy those guys want. You know, a vacation anywhere that you want in Florida, that's a pretty big care for these guys. But also, you know what, winning the last race of the season is significant, not only for Connor having won the championship already, but for all these guys that want to go in the next season, you know, as the guy to beat.
And this, of course, your home racetrack here at Road Atlanta. How cool is this place?
You know, this place is amazing. The elevation changes, you know, the S's are, it really place an emphasis on, you know, car setup and all that kind of stuff. And one of the beautiful things is a very long back straightaway. These cars are going to draft very well, and they lead into 10A, 10B, one of the best overtaking places on the racetrack.
All right, let's get some of the stories from the grid. Here's Todd.
Guys, he's finished on the podium in his last two races, gets his first ever Star Mazda Series pole position. Connor DeFilippi, what's the plan for today's race? Obviously to finish out front where you're starting.
Yeah, most definitely. We got to get qualifying position. This is the best one we've had all year, our first pole. So we just like to put our head down and just do what we've been doing all weekend, is just do consistent laps and quick laps. We don't have control of what everybody else is going to do for the race, so we just do our own race and let what happens, happens.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Ran the race simulation earlier this weekend. Came out pretty well for this JDC racing team.
Connor DeFilippi, one of the Mazda Speed Scholarship drivers. Johnny, a guy who's, I'm sure, thinking championship in 2011, but he's got business to take care of here today. This racetrack, 2.5 miles, very challenging in your home place.
And over the years, the improvements that have been made to Road Atlanta by the Panos organization have just been phenomenal, really bringing it up to a world-class circuit. You know, and like I said in the opening, you know, you've got such a great overtaking area where these cars are going to get a draft. The difficult corners, you know, that these guys are running through, everything's real fast here, but turn one, very fast corner, down through the S's 2 through 5, not going to see passing there, 6 occasionally, but that long straightaway leading up to 10A, 10B, there is a lot of drafting that takes place, and these guys are going to be overtaking there and defending positions there.
And then downhill, of course, to 12. That's where you really have to have the belt cinched up tight.
A daunting corner. It's one of those corners where everything is right. The car is flat out through there, but when you're following somebody closely, it's not that easy.
Here's the way they'll line up. Connor DeFilippi, we met him a moment ago in the 11 car, and the series champ, Connor Daly, in the Index 22. Kyle Lara in the 19 will start third. Anders Krohn, the Viking, in the Anderson Racing 47 will line up in the 4th position. Martin Scuncio back with us. He'll start 5th, and Tristan Vautier in the 38 car. He's been a winner this season. He'll go from the 6th spot back to row 4. Jorge Goncalves in the 9. Juan Pedrejita is back in the 28 car. He will go from the 8th starting position today. Rusty Mitchell out of Texas in the Motorola car, and Joao Orto in the 18. They'll make up row number 5. And in the 6th row at Road Atlanta, Nick Andres in the 81. Carlos Herrades in the 20. We got a great field. A lot of drivers with a lot of experience here today. Show you the rest of the starting grid. Tatiana Calderon in the 25, one of the Juncos cars. Don Bastian, one of our Masters Series competitors, will line up back at 14. J.W. Roberts, Larry Pegram, the motorcycle star, back with us.
Yeah, good to see him back, and, you know, I'm sure he's going to provide us with a lot of excitement today.
Final row, Chris Miller, who struggled in practice and qualifying, and Walt Mullen, one of our Masters Series competitors. Well, a very important championship within a championship is still to be decided here today. Visit Florida Cup up for grabs. Connor Daly, the season champ. And Todd Lewis talked to some of the competitors who have a shot at the title.
The 2010 overall Star Mazda Championship has been secured by Connor Daly. He's also hoping to lock up the Visit Florida Cup at this final race of the year. But there are a couple of other series drivers that are keen on wrestling it away from him.
Pretty much locked up second place in the championship. So for me, it's going to be like one of those festival races where you just go all out and see what happens. So that's going to be my focus, and it'd be great to win a trip to Florida because, well, it's lovely land down there. But if not, you know, we'll take what we can get.
I'm gonna have to be lucky, to be honest, you know, but yeah, I'll just do my race, push hard to have this trip to Florida, and we'll see what happens.
who doesn't want a dream vacation to Florida from Visit Florida? I mean, it's a pretty awesome reward, and I'm going to go into the race and do the best I can. I mean, we're always here to win.
Take a look at your Visit Florida Cup standings. Connor Daly just needs to finish 16th or better to claim this prize as well, Johnny.
Yeah, but you know, these other guys are still in it. You never know what's going to happen. And like these guys said, man, that's a great thing to have happen, you know, at the end of the year.
Johnny, as the drivers come to the grid for the standing start here, this is the first time all season, or in a long time anyway, we've seen anybody as fast or faster than Connor Daly.
DeFilippi is ending the year the way a driver wants to. He has been very strong these last couple of races. And every session here, being quick, getting his pole, and really kind of, you know, making a statement that I am now the guy. I deserve to be there too.
There's another race team here this weekend that wants to make a statement. The Anderson Racing Group of 4 drivers hoping to pick up a win today, Todd.
Guys, just before we go green, Dan Anderson had a chat with Anders Krohn, gave him a handshake in the car and said, okay, this is your last chance. Go get it. Hasn't had a victory yet this season. Hasn't finished outside of the top 5, but he said, let it all hang out. We want to see you win today.
Now we heard Anders Krohn's comment, Johnny, about it being like a festival race. You don't need to save the equipment today, do you?
Yeah, nothing matters. This is the last race of the season, you know, and really what everyone's trying to do is show that they are capable of beating, you know, Connor Daly.
Green lights, come on, we're away. Glad to have you with us. Oh, bumping off the start.
That looked like Vautier back there. I'm not sure where he got into.
They go 4 wide into turn 1 here at Road Atlanta. Everybody coming up to speed, but on those standing starts, as the jockey for position starts, it can be pretty intense.
Well, guys get so aggressive at the start, especially, you know, Vautier, you know, a very, very fast guy, probably didn't qualify as well as he wanted, knew that start was critical to him having a good race here.
Vautier settling into 5th spot in the 38 car, but you saw him wiggle coming out of turn number 1. Let's show you that start one more time and see what happened to Tristan Vautier on board with Vautier.
Oh, whoever was in front of him, a little bit slow getting away. Light touch wheel to wheel there.
If you're going to pass on a standing start, you need to make sure you've got room there.
It is one of the hardest things. One of the things that is most exciting about a standing start, though, is the opportunity to gain position like Vautier did right there. But a lot of times, you know, a guy moves, tries to defend himself, and there is contact. Luckily, it doesn't look like anybody's, you know, really, you know, suffering or the cars are injured.
This is the area you were talking about, Johnny, in the pre-race. The long backstretch coming to the right-left. Cannon today, and a move by the 9 car.
Being so defensive there. I don't know whether they're going to call him on that one. You know, you make the move to the inside to defend yourself, then moving back to the outside. The officials might not be liking that too much.
Jorge Goncalves in the 9 car trying to hold Anders Krohn in the 47, the Norse cutting entry, one of the Anderson cars. Here's Krohn to the inside in turn 1.
Throws it in there really hard. You know, again, turn 1 isn't flat out. There's a little bit of a breathe and a light brake. Krohn using that to his advantage and making a really nice move to the inside there.
Jorge Goncalves qualified in 7th spot. Anders Krohn qualified 4th. Krohn got snookered on the start, trying to work his way back into contention here as we race lap number 2.
Yeah, you saw Vautier right there throwing his car in at turn 5, really pushing hard, wanting to catch back up there. You know, at the front, DeFilippi, though, doing a great job. He's just got to hit his marks, put in good laps, and open up enough gap to Connor Daly that Connor can't get that draft to get by.
Chris Miller from Edina, Minnesota in the 85 car. He's picked up 5 spots on lap number 1 after struggling during qualifying, already up to 12th, John.
Yeah, you know, that's a beautiful thing about the standing start. It can help you.
So Chris Miller up the backstretch trying to gain some ground. Back with more from Road Atlanta. Our coverage of the Visit Florida Cup from Mosport International Raceway for the Star Mazda Championship being brought to you by Mazda. On any given weekend, more Mazdas are road race than any other brand. And by Visit Florida and visitflorida.com. Your Florida side is calling. Discover a whole new side of you and the Sunshine State. Go to visitflorida.com. Start planning your vacation today. Welcome back to Road Atlanta. We're in Brazelton, Georgia, part of Petit Le Mans weekend, wrapping up the major sports car season in 2010. Star Mazda final race of the year. Part of that, Chris Miller in the JDC car, the 85. Trying to move up from that 12th position. He gained 5 spots, Johnny, on the drop of the green. When the green lights came on, he's been kind of stuck back there in 12th ever since.
But slowly making a little bit of ground up on these guys, you know. It's the whole thing about racing, though. Getting there and getting by are often, you know, quite often 2 different things. Right now, the guys are getting spread out a little bit. See Vautier using a lot of curb there. You know, the car, a lot of times, Really doesn't like being up there. You'll get on the rev limiter as you bounce over those curbs.
One of the things I've always loved about Road Atlanta, I think you touched on it earlier, the elevation changes that you see here, the terrain. Got to be a very interesting track to drive.
Really fun. And it's one of those things, you know, there's some things television is great at, but showing the elevation change isn't always one of them as we go on board with Vautier here. Going up the gearbox down the long back straightaway. There's a bend over a rise here. It's blind. Really trying to carry it in deep, and this is the difference between the men and the boys. The man bringing it in really, really deep, leading that break into the last possible minute.
Tristan Vautier in 5th position, Anders Krohn right behind him in 6th. They've had a good battle going here in the early laps. Vautier had that opportunity at the start to pass some cars, but misjudged. The car got off the line slower in front of him, and he ran over the wheel there. Fortunately, he didn't damage his machine.
Little bit of contact. You see guys right here, the battle for 16th, a little bit of jockeying going into turn 10, but even though the car might not have broken, a lot of times contact like that will throw the toe out and give you a little bit more toe out in the front or a little bit more toe in, and that very much affects how the car enters the corner.
On board with great motorcycle star Larry Pigram in the 72 down into turn 1. You get a look at the apex of that corner. Trying to get by Dom Bastian. Pigram in the expert category. Bastian in the Masters Series category for drivers 45 and over. Dom Bastian is a guy who's pretty quick in these cars.
Yeah, and again, you know, as you go down the S's, hearing them going up the gearbox, you know, it's so fun being behind a person because, you know, you're studying what they're doing well and trying to, you know, come up with a game plan to get by as we get back to the front right now. De Filippi looking so sharp this weekend.
One guy who's having problems, though, Tristan Vautier had been running in 5th, Johnny O, and he slipped way back. He's now sitting 9th. There's a 4-car scramble here.
And Tristan moving to the inside. You can see the dirt coming off those guys dropping wheel.
Trying to get by the 18 of Joao Orto. Chris Miller back there, too.
Yeah, Miller setting everything up for the sweep back underneath under the bridge. Nicely done there.
Vautier must have put a wheel off or something. That's Nick Andres as well. He's trying to race his way back up where he was in the group before.
You know, Vautier has got such a fun style to watch. I mean, he's right on the edge. The car's very nervous, but a lot of times when the car's set up like that, you know, you can get a tank slap or you can miss an apex and allow guys to get by you. So we don't really know what happened there. But again, you know, Tristan once again finds himself, you know, on the receiving end of a battle behind him.
He is from Grenoble, France. Very strong. Has a couple of wins in the series this year. Tristan Vautier clearing that group, getting himself back on it. But these cars are so equal, Johnny. Same tires, same motor, all in the setup. The difference is usually just hundredths of a second. It's going to take Vautier a lot of hustling to get back at the front here.
When you're in a situation like him, if you feel your car is strong, but you find yourself in this type of situation, usually the only way you're going to get back to that front is if you get a full course caution in a pace car.
Vautier in the 38 car clearing that group. Got to assume that something happened to him working into lap number 5 there.
It just doesn't make sense for him to have been back and lost the momentum that he did, you know, because he'd been running what was looking like a solid 5th.
Vautier in front of this group of cars. The 18 car is Joao Orto. There's Chris Miller in the 85. Nick Andres in the 81, also part of this group. And they're running back 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Vautier has got himself at the front of this group of 4. Miller's done a great job after lining up 17th to get himself up into 11th spot.
Psychologically, when you're having a race like Miller is having, it's a great thing. When you are passing guys, you are positive. You know, all your energy's good, and all you can do is keep moving forward. Guy like Vautier, it's a much more difficult battle because you're at the front and then guys start passing you. Mentally, it's so much harder to be in that situation.
Coming up through the S's, heading toward the backstretch here at Road Atlanta. Your VisitFlorida.com running order, top of your screen. Keep track of where your favorite driver stands in the Star Mazda Championship. Back with a look at Rusty Mitchell there in the Motorola machine, the 66 car. Mitchell sitting in pretty good shape right now, running in 10th position.
It looked like Vautier was seeming to run up on him a little bit, making a little bit of ground. Rusty's one of those guys, you know, I think a really talented driver, but just so often, you know, racing is about luck, and his luck is definitely not once this year worked in his favor. You got to tip your hat to the guy as Vautier gets a toe. I think watch Vautier pull out on him going into 10 here.
There he goes. Vautier in the black and white car on the inside. Has the lane, makes the pass.
Nicely done, but as you watched him doing that, you saw the car very twitchy and nervous, which is one of those things that makes me wonder, okay, just how well that car is set up right now after that first lap contact. Also, Vautier, normally a guy qualifying in the top 4, you know, they might be struggling this weekend.
Orto in the 18 also getting by Rusty Mitchell. Yeah, Vautier's car's been loose a couple of different times here today, but he's cleared this group as he heads up through the S's. Let's get an update on Vautier. Here's Todd Lewis.
Quick update for you fellas on Tristan Vautier. Had a terrific start to this event. Off the standing start, jumped a couple of positions, bumping tires and pushing his way through, and was running 4th. He's now dropped back a couple of positions, currently running 8th. Hasn't said anything about the car to the team on the radio. He's just got his head down and trying to charge back toward the front.
Really hard to say. You know, the one thing I am noticing is that car looks nervous.
Now Vautier trying to hustle that race car, get himself back into contention here. We're not quite to halfway at Road Atlanta. Season finale for the Star Mazda Championship. This one will decide the Visit Florida Cup, and Connor DeFilippi has led all the way.
Everyone's familiar with the steering wheel in their Mazda passenger car, but the steering wheel and dash display on the Star Mazda Racers is extremely different than the one you'll see in front of you. Keith Willis is the team manager from AIM Autosport. He's going to tell us about some of the things that the drivers and teams learn from the steering wheel and dash.
Yeah, the steering wheel and dash is one of the major parts of the car. The drivers have at their access RPM, which most cars have. They have a lot of lights. That's the big thing. The warning lights are the big ones, as they call them, the idiot lights, and they still apply. But the biggest thing they have overall is they have the gear shift position sensors. They have water temperatures, oil temperatures, fuel pressures, brake pressures. They diagnose the problem coming up with the car. They can also use that to their advantage also by speeds and differentials. They'll know by the lights if they're going faster or slower in a corner.
It's a lot of information for drivers and teams to digest. And remember, they're trying to go at top speed around the racetrack as well.
Johnny, kind of like a video game.
Yeah, you know, and these guys are getting so good at using all that data to improve their performance. It really is valuable.
A guy whose performance has been very strong, Martin Scuncio in that 60 car. He's sitting 3rd, Todd.
As you can imagine, guys, this Juncos team is pretty happy with Martin Scuncio so far in this race and this weekend. Talked to Ricardo Juncos yesterday, and he said he is so happy with how this weekend has gone. Very little track time, but he's come up to speed, and in the first couple of laps of this race, he's gained a couple of positions. He's matching Connor Daly for lap times right now. Pretty good for your first race in the series if you can tie the series champion in lap times.
Scuncio out of the F2000 series from Chile. He's one of the drivers in Eliseo Salazar's kind of development program, Johnny.
And looking so good. Scores big for him, but you know, Connor Daly, he's hating that. You know, he is not wanting to see another guy come into his stable and run as quickly as he can.
A little deeper in the pack, Rusty Mitchell in the 66, Chris Miller in the Miller Milling 85 out of Minnesota. They're sitting there right in front of Nick Andres from St. Petersburg, Florida. The American Icon Team Pelfrey machine out of the Anderson stables. It's a battle for position 10th, 11th, 12th back here. These three have been going at it all day so far.
Been having a really good battle throughout the entire field, as you see. Vautier once again using the draft, doing it on the outside. Oh, chopping across the middle.
Vautier in the 38 trying to get around Juan Pedrahita for 7th, and he gets him going into 10.
Vautier so aggressive, and you know what? The officials are watching stuff like that, and I don't know whether that was maybe a little bit too aggressive of a move there by Tristan. Obviously, the cat's very motivated to get back to where he thinks he belongs.
10 laps are on the board here. Your VisitFlorida.com running order, top of your screen. Here comes Andres in the 81 to the inside of Miller, trying for a spot, and he gets it.
Gets a nice run going down up the inside into turn 1. Made it look easy. Promise you, it wasn't that easy.
Nick Andres, a young driver of whom much is expected, young American out of Florida. Chris Miller, same situation out of Minnesota. These two young guys, I think they've had a little trouble coming to grips with these Star Mazda race cars this year. And we see Andres get sideways.
You see him using the curb on the outside there in 5, totally unbalanced his car. Now, that's the type of situation where Miller, you know, had he been a little bit more prepared, should have been able to take advantage of that and beat him up to turn 6.
Onto the backstretch now. Andres in the 81 car. He's leaving a lot of room for Miller. If Miller could just get up there and get a run on it.
Exactly. Tiny little mistakes. You know what? Whenever you're following a guy like that and they're making those mistakes, you as the following driver need to be ready and understand that, okay, I am controlling you now. Wait for that mistake and then get by.
Miller sitting back there, and here they go again. This is Pedrahita and Orto now fighting it out for 8th. Joao Orto in the 18 trying to hang on to that position.
These guys having a great battle. Orto being a little bit defensive here.
Couple of teammates here. These are the two of the Team Apex entries.
Makes the move to the inside, brings it in there deep. Oh!
Pedrejita and Orto battling for position up through the S's now. Orto's got him, starting to pull away just a little bit here. If you're Juan Pedrejita, you've got to be a little frustrated. You've given up a couple of positions in the midpoint of this race at Road Atlanta. All right, right back with much more of the Visit Florida Cup. Welcome back to Road Atlanta, coverage of the Star Mazda Championship for the Visit Florida Cup. Alongside Johnny O'Connell, I'm Rick Benjamin, Todd Lewis on pit road. Jorge Goncalves, Tristan Vautier. How about Vautier, Johnny? Starts 5th, falls back to 9th. Now he's in position to maybe get back to the top 5.
No, and looking so strong. I always had the opinion that if you're not going to win, try to be spectacular. And right now, Tristan Vautier is the most spectacular guy on the racetrack, trying to make it on the outside.
Can you do that into 10? I guess you can.
Very bold move there. Very strong.
So Vautier gets around the 9 car.
Now Goncalves so close to him. He should be able to get a toe, maybe make a move going into turn 1. Vautier checking his mirrors.
The 18 car swings out. That's Orto. They think about going 3 wide. Vautier holds on to the spot up the hill.
Just pushing so hard.
Tristan Vautier, man, fantastic run for him.
He's doing a great job and really just carrying so much momentum through the corners. And again, you watch his car, you know, it's always on edge. The rear of the car always dancing.
Joao Orto, Jorge Goncalves in this battle. That's Goncalves in the 9 car. Orto back there in the 18 machine. And Vautier turning in a really nice drive after that early mistake dropped him back to 9th spot.
What Vautier's trying to do is not just work his way back to the front. You want to do that. Certain little minor victories that you can gain, like getting the fastest lap of the race and all that kind of stuff. Those are the things that are always very important to a driver.
Meantime, behind Vautier, side by side for 7th spot. Goncalves and Orto.
On the outside, Goncalves made the move happen. Side by side again, a little bit further back.
Nick Andres in the 81. Rusty Mitchell in the Motorola 66 waging that battle. Chris Miller, yeah, Miller right there too.
Hanging on the end of this group. These guys are all having a great battle with positions changing lap after lap.
For 10th spot, Andres, Mitchell, and Miller. They've had their own little war going on back there for 8 or 9 laps.
That move, the overtaking move into 1 really takes so much of a commitment, timing and everything, because, you know, anytime you're making an overtaking, you know, move going into a top gear corner, you've got to be sure you've got that pass made cleanly, especially in these open wheel cars. You got to be so aware.
So in these Star Mazda machines, no down change into 1.
I'm pretty darn certain these guys are just giving a lift or a light touch of the brakes.
A lot of grip in these race cars, of course. There's Mitchell in the 66. Having trouble, I think. It doesn't look as though that car's handling great to me today. Does it look that way to you?
You watch Mitchell, he's not using all the road. He's you know, I think he's still maybe just a little bit tentative with that car. You know, again, you watch the guys that are, you know, running a little bit further to the front. They're throwing their car around. They're carrying a little bit more momentum. They're having to catch and oversteer slide every now and then. And, you know, Miller looks like he might be operating a little bit more in a comfort zone. You know, most of the passes that are, you know, being made on him are going into turn 10A, 10B. Maybe he could be a little bit more defensive.
They battle for position under the bridge, heading down toward 12. Final corner here, StarMazda.com, the official series website. 20th anniversary season for the Star Mazda Championship. Visit Florida Cup, a big part of that. Catch up on all the race schedules, information, highlights you need, and keep up with our broadcast schedule at MazdaRacing.tv. 15 laps in the books. Your VisitFlorida.com running order, top of your screen. There's Nick Andres out of St. Petersburg, Florida, in the 81 car. Down now on the backside of the S's, heading toward the backstretch. Rusty Mitchell back there in that distinctive blue and white paint scheme. That's a Juncos car for Mitchell now. A move to the Juncos team partway through this season. I don't think the performance gain has been there the way he thought it would be.
You know, it's so hard when you swap teams and all that kind of stuff. the team is important. The team is critical. But you know what? Driver, this is still very much a driver series. And you know what? You can get a guy, put him in a decent car. A good driver is going to find a way to get that car to the front. Vautier is a good example of that right now. I don't know whether he's got the best car out there. As we see De Filippi.
Oh, off into the grass. The 81 and the 28 for position. Andres trying to get by the 28 car. That's the car won Pietrahita. Man.
That is getting ambitious. When you're dropping two wheels, under braking, and then still try to make the pass happen.
Unbelievable stuff. Connor De Filippi continues to lead. Great scramble for position deeper in the field. Back with more at Road Atlanta. Welcome back to Road Atlanta. Coverage of the Star Mazda Championship for the Visit Florida Cup final race of the 2010 season. And Connor De Filippi, the young gun who's part of the Mazda Speed driver development ladder, has led all the way. Connor Daly, the season champion, in second spot, about to put the 37 car another lap down. The 37, the car of Don Bastian, one of our Masters Series competitors. For Connor Daly, this has got to be a little difficult, Johnny. He's used to leading laps, winning races. Doesn't seem to have anything for De Filippi at this point.
De Filippi looking so strong, which is exactly how a young driver wants to finish the year, especially if you're beating a guy that dominated the series. That means you've caught up, you figured things out, and you're going to be the guy with a target on your back next year.
Well, Martin Scuncio, first time out in the series in the 60 car from the Juncos team, started in fifth spot, got up to third. Looks like he's gone off, Johnny. In fact, he's kind of wiggling the car. Here's what happened. Take a look at this.
This is huge. You do not fall off, entering turn 12 like that and not wreck big. That kid got so lucky on that time.
And that opens the door for Anders Krohn in the Anderson Racing 47, the Norse cutting machine. He gets up to third. Don Bastian's lap car in front of him directly now, but Krohn advancing a couple of spots with the Scuncio spin. I think Martin Scuncio has learned quite a bit about Star Mazda racing with that incident here today. To me, the amazing part of all that, he's only lost 2 positions, a lot of track position, but just 2 spots in the running order. Let's get more from Todd Lewis.
Martin Scuncio's is fine after the off, fellas. Now it's a matter of regaining focus. The team is reminding him, breathe on the straightaways. Try to relax your hands if you have the opportunity. It's a test of endurance moving up to this series from USF 2000, and Martin Scuncio's has really been in a battle up near the front of the field, so it's a real test for him to complete this event.
Even with a spin, though, what an awesome debut for this guy, to be running that close to his teammate, the guy that won the championship. So, he'll be a little bit disappointed. But again, the beautiful thing is I guarantee you that kid's not just back in the zone, but he's back in the zone now, more having had that happen.
Watching Rusty Mitchell back around 11th position, trying to fight his way a little closer to the front. Juan Pietrahita there in the 28 car, directly in front of Mitchell. And Johnny, Todd brought up an interesting point. There you can see the grass. I think that perhaps Scuncio kicked up when he came down the backstretch a lap or 2 by. But the difference in race length, 30 minutes in the USF 2000 series. Now you're 45 minutes in a much faster, more powerful race car.
And it probably takes a little bit more strength to turn these cars because you have more downforce on them, a little bit bigger and grippier tires. So, again, it's all about learning as we, watch the teams here, looking at the data that they have.
Rusty Mitchell at 11th. Here's the JDC entry, the 11th car of Connor De Filippi. His team watching there from pit road. They've got to be very happy with De Filippi's performance. By far his best run of the season. Pole qualifier, led all the way, 21 laps complete.
That team is run by Tom Knapp. Tom and I go way back. The guy is really brilliant, awesome at setting up race cars. And De Filippi, though, is taking advantage of that and really rewarded the hard work of that team really well.
Connor De Filippi, one of the Mazda Speed ladder drivers, one of the driver development stars of the future. That ladder system really something.
The Mazda Speed Motorsports Driver Development Program has been instrumental in young drivers advancing their racing career. Several Star Mazda Series drivers are hoping to continue their climb up the ladder.
Well, I definitely want to move up on the Mazda Speed and Road to Indy ladder, and if I could move up to the Firestone Indy Light Series, I'd be thrilled. And Mazda and Road to Indy have done a fabulous job in structuring where to go next, and I want to follow that because it makes a lot of sense.
The Great Diamond Prize is for the winner, so I don't think it's gonna happen for me, but I'll try to push for Indy Lights, but I'm still considering a second year in Mazda because there is a solid ladder system. They really try and promote the drivers, so I kind of like the series.
I moved from karting directly into the ladder system that Mazda has created for us, starting at Skip Barber in the Skip Barber Shootout. I mean, it's opened so many doors for myself and young drivers. The new USF 2000 step in between Skip Barber and Star Mazda, just another way to improve the system and work on open wheel racing here in America.
I think the USF 2000 series is great. It's a great tool from Skip Barber to Star Mazda. So the Road to Indy program is just an awesome tool to be a part of.
Yes, I want to be here in the Star Mazda, following the Mazda Ladder series. But we need to get some sponsors, and I think we can do it, and I hope to be here next year.
Yeah, that ladder system that Mazda has put together, Johnny, a huge thing for these young, talented drivers.
It's everything, you know, and it used to be so hard for any driver to create a career path to get to the top. And really what Mazda, with their commitment, you know, not just in the open wheel stuff, but their weekend, you know, week in, week out stuff, you know, Mazda really, you know, promotes racing and uses racing as a marketing tool as good as anybody.
Scuncio in the 60, Kyle Lara in the 19, as Scuncio tries to get himself back into contention here today at Road Atlanta. He's got his work cut out for him. Kyle Lara, one of the strong young drivers in the series. And there's Larry Pegram, the former motorcycle champion, making his second Star Mazda start. Of course, he's one of the expert class competitors in that 72 car. Really interesting as we get back on board with Pegram down the front straightaway, get a sense of what this turn one move was like. You say no down change, John.
Yeah, really hard for me to tell, you know, from the onboard whether he did or not. But again, you know what? The speed of these cars, how well they handle, man, they're just awesome machines.
Connor D. Filippi still in charge. Daly and Crone second and third. Right back with more.
I'm Connor Daly, and if I win the Visit Florida Cup, I'm going to go to Disney World and enjoy the theme park.
If I were Connor Daly, I'd be calling the Visit Florida travel agent.
Yeah, he is looking so good. I mean, you can't say enough about the year that Connor Daly has had, the dominance. And we haven't seen dominance like, you know, he has shown in ages in the series. And again, with his dad's help and guidance and all that kind of stuff, I mean, that's a kid that is definitely going so far in the sport.
Meantime, we pick up the battle for 10th. Juan Pedrojita in the 28 car. Mitchell under the bridge to the inside as they head to 12.
Oh, and he sticks it in there. Now that's what Mitchell needs to do. I mean, Mitchell's a very capable driver, you know, and showing aggressiveness like that going into turn 12, you know, is going to pay dividends. That was a super move.
So Rusty Mitchell back to 10th position now in the 66 car. Not sure what his plans are for 2011 as yet. We heard from some of those young drivers, part of the Mazda Speed driver development ladder system earlier, Johnny, as some of them I think need to be here in Star Mazda for another year. Even a guy like Tristan Vautier, who's won a couple of races this year, to me you've got to be consistent here before you can think about taking another step. How do you see that?
It's true, that always helps. But then, you know, we look at some of our past and some of our, you know, the really strong drivers out of this series that have gone on and done well, I don't know, like Marco Andretti and Graham Rahal, you know, they didn't win races, they didn't win championships here, but they certainly were able to move ahead. So, you know, it's all about getting that right team, that right opportunity. You know, Dan Gurney once told me, every year there's one series to be in and to be the champion of, and right now in Star Mazda, this is definitely a good year for Connor Daly.
Still battling for 4th and 5th, Kyle Lara, Martin Scuncio. Our website to keep track of our broadcast schedule for this series as well as the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup. It's MazdaRacing.tv, MazdaRacing.tv with all the broadcast schedules all year long. Kyle Lara in the 19 car has done a really nice job, I think, hanging on in the top 4, top 5 all day.
Doing a really good job. We'd expect that of him. You know, Scuncio, though, really super impressed with him. Again, first time in this car, first time with the team, just doing a really good job, and he's obviously acclimating himself to the faster car, you know, really well. He's done well in the 2-liter stuff, but you see a guy move up in a series and then start excelling, it's going to open up opportunities for this guy.
We got a glimpse during Todd's piece on the driver development system, the Mazda Speed. Oh, one car out of shape up the backstretch. Not up the backstretch, up the hill. Rusty Mitchell. We talked about Mitchell being so quick, getting back up to 10th spot. Just lost it coming out of the corner.
Hard to really see whether or not the guys checked up on him. Now, there's an elevation change. You see them. Mitchell, no, you know what? He was actually doing right, but he was holding the steering wheel, not letting the car unwind. These cars do have enough power to break them loose. Mitchell with a half spin there didn't hit anything.
He worked so hard to get to 10th, he gives it up with a spin. Meantime, battling down into turn 10, Pedrojita and Chris Miller in the fight for 10th.
Miller getting himself in the middle of a lot of battles today. Staying real tight to Pedrojito here.
Pedrojita changing lanes there to keep Miller behind him. Miller tries to move to the inside, can't get it done.
You know, a lot of times a guy throws that little half move towards you, and it's just enough to make you breathe the car just a little bit so that you can't get by.
And these are momentum race cars, aren't they?
Oh, very much so. I mean, even with all the horsepower that these Mazda engines have, every class of racing is about momentum. If you give up 1-2 mile an hour in a corner, that's going to cost you 1-2-3 mile an hour at the end of the straightaways. Anytime you get out of that throttle, it really just kills you.
Goncalves in the 9 car, Pedrojita and Miller back there fighting 8th, 9th, and 10th. Heading to the backstretch. Meantime, here comes Skuncio. He's about to make a move on Lara for 4th.
Nicely done. Well, look at Vautier coming in from behind these guys. We got a 3-way battle now.
4th, 5th, and 6th in play as the laps wind down here at Road Atlanta. Final quarter of this lap. And Skuncio has 4th position.
And Lara's in a really bad position as he makes the move to the inside, and that he knows nothing about Skuncio, except it's another orange car side by side.
Skuncio on the outside, able to keep his foot in it and hold off Lara.
Oh, Lara, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Oh, man.
I like Skuncio for a young kid making his first starter. He's not backing off.
Yeah, you know, and Lara probably carried that one a little bit too deep, a little bit too ambitiously.
That could have had a very bad outcome for everybody. Chris Miller, meantime, working to move up in the running order as the laps wind down, but Skuncio takes 4th back. Lara and Vautier 5th and 6th right now. Connor DeFilippi has led all the way so far at Road Atlanta. Welcome back to Road Atlanta, Brazelton, Georgia. Season finale, the 20th anniversary year for the Star Mazda Championship. Alongside Johnny O'Connell, I'm Rick Benjamin. Connor Daly and Anders Krohn now. Good fight established here for 2nd spot. Krohn has reeled in Daly, Johnny O.
Yeah, and this has those Visit Florida repercussions.
Certainly does with 31 laps on the board. Your VisitFlorida.com running order. Top of your screen, Daly, the season champion. Trying to lock down the Visit Florida Cup as well. Championship within a championship, the last of the 7 races where the points will be tallied. Daly only needs to finish 16th or better, so the thing he's probably got to think about now is don't go off.
You think that, and you know what, and you're thinking, yeah, there's a vacation and an awesome vacation on the line. Doesn't matter at all. These guys right now, it's all about pride. You know, Anders definitely wanting to make a statement that, hey, you know what, I can beat you, Connor Daly. You know, Connor saying, it's not happening today. This is my house. See, Anders, working that steering wheel. Now, that little bit of a mistake, you can see, allowed Connor to get to the throttle just a little bit sooner. There's about 2 car lengths between them. We'll see whether or not Anders, using the toe, can get close enough. I don't think he's going to be able to.
DeFilippi with a couple of second lead. This is the fight for 2nd. Daly in the 22 car.
Oh, this could work out. This could work out. Connor being ultra defensive.
Mirror driving just a little bit there.
Yeah.
Oh! Anders Krohn using all the road, has to get away from it. Let's take another look at what happened as Daly was really defending hard.
Yeah, you know what? You see Connor really defending hard, and then Anders going to the outside. Now, what he's not thinking about that he's just been running through a ton of dirt. His tires aren't as grippy as they should be. Had he moved to the outside earlier, he might have been able to make something happen.
From Krohn's onboard camera.
You can just see how busy it gets in the cockpit. You get down to the braking zone, going down the gearbox.
Anders Krohn able to grab a gear and get going, and that's critical for his Anderson Racing teammates too, right, Todd?
Fellas, a lot of championships up at stake today, as well as the Visit Florida Cup. The overall team championship looks to be in the hands of Team Anderson right now, unless there is a total collapse. We've got Anders Krohn running 3rd currently. That should be enough to clinch it for Anderson Racing for 2010.
And the good news, I guess, for Krohn is the top 3 cars had stretched out such a big advantage. He didn't give up a position with that spin.
Yeah, that was pretty fortunate for him. You know, again, shows the pace that these guys at the front have been running as we come down to the last lap here.
DeFilippi and some lap traffic in the JDC 11 car. The Justice Brothers machine has not put a wheel wrong all day.
That kid, if he comes back next year, is going to be so strong. You know, again, you know, Tom Knapp, I'm sure, is totally stoked. There's nothing better than, you know, with running a team. seeing your drivers do well, and this is a guy that they've been really talking about as being one of America's great young talent, following in the footsteps of Connor Daly, who is in his second year.
And it's perfect for DeFilippi. It sets up perfectly for him, I'm sure. With this run, he is going to establish himself not only winning the Rookie of the Year honors in 2010, but as the preseason favorite for 2011.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, you win that last race of the year, and you do it in dominating style the way he has. You know, really no flash or anything. Just get to business. Show everybody, hey, you know, all right, now I am the fastest guy on the racetrack. You know, that makes for a great offseason.
Connor DeFilippi up the backstretch one final time here at Road Atlanta. What a picture-perfect day to go racing on this Petit Le Mans weekend 2010. He won't be the season champion, won't be the Visit Florida Cup. Oh, one car into the tire barriers. How quickly things can change. Walt Bolin, one of the Abe Autosport cars, the 23. His season will end prematurely. DeFilippi's will end with a race win here at Road Atlanta.
Outstanding. That team definitely is very excited. All their many hours putting into preparing that car, paying off right now.
Connor DeFilippi, the Star Mazda Rookie of the Year. Walt Bolin, the safety crew on hand to go rescue him from the tires here at Road Atlanta, just outside turn number 3. So Connor Daly wins the Visit Florida Cup. DeFilippi, the race winner, will meet the champions when we come back at Road Atlanta. Our coverage of the Visit Florida Cup from Mosport International Raceway for the Star Mazda Championship being brought to you by Mazda. On any given weekend, more Mazdas are road raced than any other brand. And by Visit Florida and visitflorida.com. Your Florida side is calling. Discover a whole new side of you and the Sunshine State. Go to visitflorida.com. Start planning your vacation today. Very impressive win for Connor DeFilippi. Here's Todd.
The helmet's off. The Visit Florida cap is going on. The smile clearly visible on the face of Connor DeFilippi. What a way to put a stamp on the Rookie of the Year title with a win here at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, it's been so much hard work this year. You know, we've struggled at first and had a lot to learn this year. And sure enough, in the end, it's all of our hard work's been paying off. Rick and I, everyone at JDC Motorsports has really been working our heart out this year, and it's nice to have some results to prove how hard we've been working.
Look forward to coming back in 2011?
Absolutely. I can't wait to come back and contend for the championship next year.
Connor DeFilippi, a winner here at Road Atlanta to close out the season.
Johnny, I've got to believe he's the favorite going into the new year. Crone gets credit for second, though, ahead of Connor Daly. That move down coming to turn 10 must have done it. Huh?
Yeah, you know what? You don't know how they called that one on Connor, whether it was blocking or not, but, you know, Honors has got to be pleased with that result. Connor, not so much.
Rusty Mitchell ends up 11th in front of Piedrahita and Linares. Let's talk to our runner-up, Crone.
This is my Norwegian buddy. We're both Norwegian. I'm very proud of him.
Anders Crone is on the podium. His team owner Dan Anderson with him. Congratulations on another great, consistent finish, first of all.
Yeah, thanks so much. Today we just had such a good pace, and it's good that we got second because, I mean, that was a pretty bad block, and yeah, it was the way it's supposed to be, us finishing second today, so I'm very, very happy for the team.
And Dan, you must be pretty happy to have a team championship for Anderson Racing.
Yes, I am. It's still, I've had great drivers this year, so there's still a little bit of discouragement that we didn't win the overall, but we did well. We had good race cars today, too. I'm very happy for Anders and all the boys.
Congratulations on a great year.
Thank you very much.
Oh, take a look at what happened late in the race here. Crone and Daly squabbling for second spot coming to turn 10.
You know, really hard to tell. I mean, Connor made his move way to the inside, didn't counter off it so much. Tough call, but, you know, that's the way they made it.
Connor Daly locked up the overall championship of the last event at Mosport. You clinch the Visit Florida Cup. You get a nice vacation and a nice smile on your face, too.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to go to Florida. I mean, that's what I came into this weekend wanting to do, is clinch the Visit Florida Cup, and, you know, we were able to do that. It was a tough race. Connor was super fast. You know, I couldn't quite catch him, but, you know, the team did a fantastic job yet again. We're just missing about maybe half a tenth of a second. It was just pulling away just that little bit. And, you know what? It was a great season, though. Great season, great year. I mean, I just had a lot of fun this season, and, you know, all thanks to Juncos Racing and all my sponsors. I just have to... And Visit Florida, of course. So, you know, thank you all the people of Visit Florida, you know, to put this great series on TV, and it's pretty fantastic.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
A young Connor Daly wins the Visit Florida Cup to go alongside his Star Mazda Championship. He'll get that week vacation, dream vacation for two to Florida. Crone, Vautier, DeFilippi, and Kyle Lara, the rest of the first five. Johnny, it's been a fantastic Star Mazda season yet again.
It was amazing. You know, Connor Daly proving that he was the class of the field, winning the championship and dominating style. But as we look towards next year, guys like De Felipe, you know, Vautier. We have so many talented drivers. It's going to be awesome.
Certainly will. For Johnny O'Connell, San Luis, I'm Rick Benjamin. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage this year of the Star Mazda Championship. See you next time.